And I kept saying or hold on, now I got to get back to where I was because I got sidetracked. The witch is
Sucks,
putting a
doesn't it? Doesn't that
yeah.
suck? Yeah, you do it to me all the time. Hey everyone, and welcome to Why You Still Here. I feel like I'm looking in the wrong place. Totally wrong. Whatever.
Yeah, we're here for another
Anyway.
movie review, guys. I mean, well, I did forget
Well,
to mention in
firstly,
Brandon's behalf, it is
welcome
Why
to
Are You
Why Are You
Still
Still
Here?
Here?
The
The show
show
where we talk
where
about whatever we want.
there we
And
go.
yes, today, Lucas, why are we still
Why are we
here?
still here? Well, last week I was texting Brandon about the AMC line of sight thing and how it wasn't a thing anymore. I'm like, yeah, I love my A list. I always talk about how much I love it. Anything that says AMC thrills and chills with the red border, I go see. Like A Haunting in Venice. Is anyone going to want to talk about that? I'll do my own
When
solo
I
video.
I literally didn't know what made this fall on your into your line of sight, so to
That's
speak.
how. That's exactly
And
how.
oh, trust me, I knew that because as soon as I went onto the AMC website when I
It's
purchased the
listed as
tickets
a
for
horror
it,
movie.
I saw this. Not really, but it does have the thrills and chills thing around it. It's not listed. It's
Is it mystery?
um, but
We'll
Lucas is
show you.
like, so I'm gonna get ready to do your. This is your voice now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get ready and do a couple solo videos myself, and I was like, oh. Yeah, and he's like, yeah, it started off with a haunting in Venice, I think, and I'm like,
That's a
why
great
would
way to
you
start it
what?
off for
Why would you do that? And he's just like, huh? And I'm like, I want to talk about that movie. I want to talk about it so much, in fact, that its predecessor, the
Death on the Nile.
prequel of sorts to this movie, Death on the Nile, was on my top 10 list of last year. So it was just, I don't know, it was a really somewhat funny situation where Lucas really took to heart the thrills and chills thing, thought that meant horror movie, and thought that it would be something that I wouldn't care about. But I had been eagerly anticipating this movie for like 4 months now, I want to
Mm.
say. I think that's when I found out about it. And yeah, and I showed the trailer to my dad, and we were ready. We were ready. We saw the last one in theaters too, and we see the Knives Out series in theaters as well. I mean, I see a lot of
Yeah,
things
for
with
as
my
much as you
dad, but
could.
in particular, those ones. There's just something fun about it. But yeah, so it's like uh no solo video for you. Bad
Bad.
Lucas. And so then we decided, obviously, we're going to do a normal video for it, but he did do a short. That is something that did happen, and I felt it was unnecessary for me to do one afterwards, especially 2 days later wouldn't really make sense. Lucas saw the movie Thursday, I saw it Saturday, and yeah, now we're going to talk about it. So it is Kenneth Branagh's third movie in the director's chair, not all together, but for this series, because he's directed a ton of stuff, including the first Thor movie.
No shit.
The more you know. Yes. Yes, indeed. I don't think he's
That's
in it at
awesome.
all. But yeah. And this is the third adventure of his take on Hercule Poirot.
Yeah, which I had no
Or
idea was a
Hercule
character
Poirot.
was a
As I
character in
think the
literary
French say.
fiction.
It's like the French Sherlock Holmes, and
Yeah, I kind of put that
it
together when
is,
I looked it up
and
anyway.
well, that's what I told you. And you went, oh, really? I never get credit for sharing information. I swear. It was in that whole diatribe that I sent you, and I was like, I'm looking forward to that movie too. We will speak about it. I'm like, like it's Hercule Poirot. This is the third movie. Blah blah blah. But yeah, Agatha Christie's creation. And fun fact, that's what the Knives Out series is based off of as well. Not specifics
I
from
caught
Agatha
a
Christie,
lot of those vibes in the
but
movie, so makes sense.
Ryan Johnson was going for an Agatha Christie vibe though with it. But yeah, so it's obviously directed by Kenneth Branagh, stars Kenneth Branagh and an assortment of other people. Tina Fey,
Yes.
and there's a bunch of others as well. Jamie Dornan. I think that's all I can name from memory. But a lot of people, I'll tell you. And these movies are really, very much so like the Knives Out movies. They're known for their wonderful casts. They have these huge ensemble casts, and they're, they assemble a very, talented ensemble. Say that sentence 5 times fast. And this one was no different. But basically, assemble a talented ensemble.
I said it.
Yeah.
You just couldn't hear me, but I did do it. It is it is possible.
I don't believe. So yeah, I don't know what else to say other than the synopsis basically is that Hercule Poirot's friend, even though he doesn't think he has friends, comes to him and basically goes, there's a seance going on. I can't figure out how they're doing this, but there's obviously something behind this. So can you come and spot the
trickery?
Yeah.
The deception.
Yeah.
Exorcist 2 Deceiver.
Basically, can you come spot the trick that I can't? Or it's not the word she uses. That's why I was trying to think of that specific word. It's in the trailer. I don't know. But she says that, like, come spot the, what I can spot. And obviously he is like the smartest man in the world. And so he goes and he experiences what appears to be a real haunting
in Venice and
Correct.
not in Connecticut.
No. And it's based off of Halloween Party by Agatha Christie. I don't know to what extent, and I assume they changed the title to go along with the previous 2 movies, Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile, A Haunting in Venice. Though this is the first one that has an A.
The more you
probably
know.
Haunting in Venice probably would have fit a little bit better. That's all I'm saying.
I'm splitting hairs here, but anyway.
So
let's talk about this, about what unfolds at this seance on Halloween night.
Let's.
Are we starting off with well, you know what? Do your thing, Brandon.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say, but we can talk momentarily about spoiler-free things, and then we'll go into spoilers.
Oh God, yeah,
because there is obviously spoilers in this review, as there are in the movie.
Indeed.
There is very contingent on certain things, obviously. So yeah, so he attends this seance. It's a Halloween party. The seance itself is on Halloween night, which all of that stuff was super cool.
Oh yeah,
because it's Halloween
Detective, you are
in
me,
Italy,
but I can talk to the dead.
But also in the 40s, so it's all old-timey Halloween.
It really lent itself with all the architecture of like the building they were into. Like it was a very atmospheric kind of movie. They really knocked it out of the park with that.
Yeah,
I gotta say.
That was
It's a
all.
very interesting choice for a setting, which I mean, a lot of things they do in the movie really lend itself to like horror tropes, but also intertwined in the murder mystery, intertwined in
Hmm.
reality. And then again, that's why
Yeah.
I said in like my short, it's hard for me to talk about a lot of things in the movie in the spoiler free portion because there's just so much that unfolds that envelops the whole end of the movie. So it's more or less like a plot synopsis and certain things that stuck out to us, like the cinematography as well. I pointed that out. It's great. The sound design, saw it in Dolby, got to hear a lot of like small
Hmm.
atmospheric things, all done very well, very spooky,
Yeah.
very haunting when need
Keeps
be.
you on the edge of your seat.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And all the acting is great too. I couldn't really find anybody that stuck out as a sore thumb to me. Kenneth
yeah.
Branagh was just particularly great.
I
Tina
mean,
Fey
he's
was awesome as well.
Kenneth Brannagh is always great. I mean, what did we say about Chamber of Secrets? That he
Yeah,
was
gushed
easily the
over
best
Gilderoy.
person in that movie. So, but yeah, he's always great. And his version of Frankenstein, maybe not so much, but
That's
whatever.
okay.
We could forget about that. That. Um, which he directed that one as well.
Hmm.
Yes. But yeah, he's wonderful though. I think the only thing that was a little bit jarring was that Tina Fey is not funny at all in this movie. It's the first
That's
time
what
I've
I
ever
liked
seen
about it.
her
It's
take
it's
on
it's
a
so
serious role at
funny,
all.
that you mentioned that because she wasn't being funny, and I'm like, I recognize who is that? It wasn't coming to me right away. And then like it close up on her face, and I'm like, oh my God, that's Tina Fey. Oh my God, she's gotten slightly older. Thanks, Dolby. But I'm like, yeah, no, she did great too. I like when comedy actors are
Yeah,
not
yeah,
comedic.
I don't mind it, but it's like there is a couple funny moments in the movie, but it comes from Kenneth Branagh, not from Tina
Mm-hmm.
Fey. So that was interesting.
Good juxtaposition.
Yeah, but it all worked well, everybody, and it was good. There is one character there's a little bit of overacting with. We'll get there. I can't say that in non-spoiler, but just a tad, I think. But yeah. So all these kids show up to this Halloween party. It turns out they're orphans, and then they kick them out.
Yeah,
Like, let them stay, you know? Like, I guess they were trying to protect them or something, but come on, where are they gonna go? It's nighttime,
on the
and
streets
they're
of
these
Venice.
orphans that made their own costumes. So it's like, come on. And they're told this whole story. Again, this is kind of like light spoilers, but the whole story that there's ghosts that live in this house of children because they were locked in there and they died, and now they want to
Mm-hmm.
kill doctors. And what was the other one? Was it nurse and doctors?
I don't remember the specific, of course. If you don't remember, sorry. Statute of
Uh,
limitations.
it was like a huge plot point of the movie. But anyway, so because the one guy's a doctor,
Uh-huh.
and there's another person that has another profession as well. Um, oh man, whatever. So they're going for specific people to kill. That's the legend of this house. And so Halloween party goes on without a hitch. There's obviously, this is where you get to know a lot of the cast during these moments. You start to see little things here and there that might, start pointing fingers at certain people for a crime that has yet to happen. That's a little bit different with this movie too. With the other ones, traditionally, the murder's front and center. This one is, the murder takes a little bit to happen. You don't know there's going to be a murder at first. And yeah, so
Well, that's another
everything.
reason why I enjoyed it so much too, because like since I didn't see the other ones, I didn't know what direction this was taking a series, you know what I mean? So like
Mhm.
it made me question whether like is this actually going to be the supernatural version of this like franchise again, you know what I mean?
I mean, I
Because
I
it had
I
me going
told
both ways
you
a few
it
times.
wasn't, and I mean, I was like 99.9% sure. That's what I said in the text message. I'm like, there's going to be a logical explanation. That's just how it is. Same thing with Sherlock Holmes, Hound of the
Mhm.
Baskerville. That's ghostly, but there ends up being a logical explanation. But then watching the movie, I started to think I could be wrong, and I hope I'm not. But
I
yeah,
agree.
so then you find out basically, or do you? Who knows? And then things happen. The seance happens. We should say the seance is for the daughter who committed suicide of one of the characters of the cast. And I was under the impression that the kid was her son and that the doctor was her husband, and that's not the case at all.
No.
Like which is weird. Like the doctors, that is his son, but there's no mother with them. And then with her, it was like just her and her daughter who committed suicide. It was so weird because they seem so intertwined with each other, but whatever. And then bit by bit, Hercule Poirot goes to work and he starts debunking everything that happens before him. Michelle Yeoh is in the movie. She plays the psychic. She is an Oscar winner now, and a former Bond girl.
Very good.
Yes, indeed. But obviously, Everything Everywhere All at Once, she won the Oscar for that lead actress, and Jamie Lee Curtis won supporting. So yeah, I mean, other than that, it becomes basically like your standard, murder mystery. Murder happens,
Just with a lot of spooky flair, which is what did it for me. Loved it.
Yeah, and it must be solved. And yeah, there's some like ghostly stuff happening, but it's interesting because they throw that at you after Hercule already disproves so many things. So it's like really interesting the way they go about that. But then it's starts to become like certain things he can't explain, and he doesn't like that. He doesn't like that shit at all. And he's like, there has to be like a logical explanation. There has to be. So he's super frustrated. And it's one of the first times you ever see him not really know what the answer is to something, until he does. So
and
yeah.
That at this point, this encroaches spoiler territory. So
yeah,
I think
I
there's
don't,
like nothing really else to talk about.
I will say this, the runtime of the movie was perfect.
Oh, the pacing was phenomenal.
The only thing that's not 3 hours long out there, it's not even 2 hours long. I like
an hour and 51 minutes.
Yes, and according to Jeremy Johns, it's only an hour and a half without credits.
Well, that's why it felt so well paced.
Yeah, so it's pretty quick, and I'm not used to quick movies these days. Everything seems to be just inflated. So, yeah, and that, I guess that's really it. We can go into spoilers now, which I have a few, but
first of all, before we go into spoilers, Brandon, what are you giving this movie?
Well, let me say this, that I did enjoy Death on the Nile more. That was something that seemed to break Lucas's heart for some reason. Yeah, so like Death on the Nile more, but I would give this 7.5 out of 10.
Well, I have no frame of reference. I gave this bad boy a 9 in my short. I love this movie. I'll give it an 8.5 in 6 months. But yeah, awesome movie.
I think that'll change with the viewing of the other two. I could be wrong. Some people have real weird issues with the other two, and they point at stupid things, especially with Death on the Nile, like just stupid things. And that drives me up a wall. I said that when we did our top 10. I was like, I really like this movie. I guessed who the killer was.
Yes.
I felt very smart for that. But apparently I was not the only one. But that didn't ruin the experience for me.
Anyway, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, go check it out. I don't think it's doing super well in theaters. I think that it is underperforming. I meant to check that on Box Office Mojo, but I think that it's not doing the best. But definitely go check it out. You won't regret it, especially if you are a fan of murder mysteries and you are a fan of horror. it combines it, and Kenneth Branagh is a gem. So yeah. Now you might want to avert your attention if you haven't seen it, because we're going to get into some spoilers here. And if you have already seen it, then stick around.
Very good. We've been recording for 20
Tell
minutes
me,
already.
Lucas. I have no idea. Tell me, Lucas. Tell me everything you want to say.
Well, we're going into the spoiler portion of this movie. And what is the first thing I want to talk about with spoilers? I guess we don't really got to start chronologically, but obviously it's the mother of the daughter. She poisoned her throughout her life and made her go crazy, kill her.
Yeah.
And
didn't mean to. It's a very like Sixth Sense kind of dealio. It's basically what Corey's mom has in Halloween Ends. It's it's called Munchausen by proxy, and it's a bitch. Just like Corey's mom.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So continue. I'm looking at the box office mojo numbers.
So Hercule obviously was drugged himself, and you don't know this throughout the entirety of the movie, obviously. So that is what made me second guess, is it supernatural? Because this intelligent man is starting to like maybe have a descent into madness or something. Like, it was really cool and unique. I really enjoyed pretty much everything about the
twist. Or
is
it really paranormal? I mean, that there is that option as well.
True, but
I
I
think
guess
you said
in my
supernatural
mind,
before,
paranormal,
but
sure.
there's no vampires or werewolves or anything in it that I'm aware
Sorry,
of. So.
I mixed up my terminology. I will fully admit I will fully admit my wrongdoing in that regard. But no, yeah, I loved everything about the ending. I definitely didn't see the mother as the as the killer. I thought it was going to be the seance witch. Listening.
The one that died?
Well, before
in
she
the
died.
most brutal way possible. She was the first one to die.
Well, it's a murder mystery, so you're gonna start questioning everybody immediately. What if it would be the seance woman?
Yeah.
What if there's something crazy going on?
I mean, it's okay, sure.
She's pulling all this tomfoolery. She could be a murderer.
Yes.
You don't know this. Stop laughing at me, you fucker.
Yes. So I don't know what they're saying about this movie at the moment, by the way, but I mean, it only made 15 million domestic. So the budget for the movie is 60 million.
Oh man.
And you know what they say about budgets, right? You need to make 2 to 3 times that back.
Because they didn't even make back the promotional cost of the movie.
And correct. Yeah. 2 to 3 times, and then you're profitable. So that's not great. So definitely go see this movie again if you can. Otherwise, we're never going to get a fourth one. And I want a fourth one. I want Kenneth Brannagh to keep doing this until he's dead. Basically. So yeah.
Brandon, I just got the 10-minute left timer on my screen.
Yep. Me too.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it popped up for you as well. So I didn't not want it to cut off mid sentence and us ruin this, or lose it rather.
So I, on the other hand, I did guess it was the mother, but then I pushed that aside and moved on to the next person. Okay. Because I was like, no, like there's no real reason. Like I knew that the exchange in her garden of death was a little weird. Like it was just a weird situation, but I could not figure out why it was a weird situation. I didn't know it was a garden of death. And so it was like I ended up going on to other people, and the person that I sort of referenced that I thought was a little bit overacting was Jamie Dornan as, the doctor. And I get
Here
that
and
he
there,
has PTSD, but it was like,
I know there were just moments where it was like this little kid is like written as a fucking as the father.
I'm not saying I think that was on purpose. Like he had to take on the role as the father because the father is like a kid, like a child.
He did it with
in
such
the way
poise
that he
and
acts.
elegance.
Yeah, he's good. I'm sure we'll probably see him pop up in more things because he's like a Macaulay Culkin. Like he says the lines and you believe it. Like he's very
For sure.
sincere. He's not like most kid actors where it's like kind of
It's
cringy.
it sounds like you're fucking
Yeah.
just literally reading the script.
Yeah.
Like
So
you're
he was
watching a
good. And
student
his
film.
scenes with Kenneth Brannagh obviously were pretty cool. I mentioned that it was funny. Obviously, not a lot. There's more moments of levity in the other two movies,
Okay.
but this one, it had a very funny line in it, though. It was actually to Tina Fey rather than from Tina Fey, which was, they're like, do you think it could be the kids that were pulled out of the fireplace, which that was hilarious in and of itself, him pulling them out of the fireplace.
Yeah.
Like he did not buy that for a second. Like the whole, listening and then talking in the voice. And I thought about that afterwards. Like the mother was like, that was my daughter's voice, but then she was the person that did the murdering, right? So she was going to lie and say that, because I was like, that's something that is needs to be fixed. And then it was like, no, it doesn't, because she would just say it was her daughter's voice, right?
Mama, Felicia.
And they didn't explain why the psychic was spinning around in a chair. So it's like maybe that's left up to interpretation that it might be a little bit, I don't think they did, at least. I don't think they showed like a string attached to it or anything.
I don't recall.
They showed a string attached to the doors to like the patio to pull those open and have the
there's
wind
that.
rush in.
There was like what the hell was it called? Like the magnetic thing that would hit the typewriter when you clicked it.
Well, that was explained right away, though, right? It was the guy.
I'm just saying it was one of their methods
in the fireplace. Yeah.
Just adding to the conversation.
Sure. And so they're like, could it be the kids? We must ask. It's always the help, isn't it? And he's like, yes, it is always the help, mostly because they're called the help. And it was just so like, it was just so quick, and I thought that was so funny.
I mean, I like that it's sparing, because when it happens, it's a nice like moment. It's like a breath, because the movie I would definitely say it's like a murder mystery whodunit thriller, not a thrills and chills like horror marketing. Because AMC, like anything, even like suspense,
I don't know why they did that.
They might even do like a Lifetime movie as like thrills and chills, possibly. But obviously, I love scary movies, so I always just click on it because I can go see them.
Yeah,
Become an AMC A-list Stubbs member. Rewards today.
I knew that was the reason right away, because like Lucas has already said before in the past, he's like, I see every thrills and chills movie. That's how I know it's gonna be good, and most of them aren't.
No.
But whatever.
Not that I know it's gonna be good, it's what I want to waste my time on.
And Lucas really benefited
here
with this movie, because it was a lot of money to see that thing in Dolby.
Brandon paid almost 40
tickets.
Bucks.
For 2 tickets, it was $34, I believe. 32 or 34. It was a lot.
That's a lot.
That's all I'm saying. I think that's really all. I mean, it's a good movie. It's, I thought towards the end that maybe the explanation was going to be a little bit more, like I felt like I was missing a little bit of something. Like it didn't have quite the same type of reveal that the other ones have. And then it's unfair, but I always throw like Knives Out into it as well. And obviously,
I thought of Knives Out the entire time.
Glass Onion.
So
those have like impossible, endings to figure out, because it's so convoluted, like in the best way possible. So in the back of my mind, I was kind of expecting that a little bit as well. And it was just easy. Like it was a really easy,
it's
solution.
An easy watch, easy solution.
Sure. And then they kind of leave it with you, like, because I am a little conflicted about them actually showing the ghost daughter at the end.
I wouldn't want to see that.
Well, they did. She popped up behind the mother and pulled her off of the balcony.
And it wasn't a hallucination.
Well, they were like, the drugs had worn off on you by that point, Poirot, and he's like, no.
Okay.
He's like, I do not think so. No, I think that was a hallucination. And they're like, yeah, I don't think so. Because it was like, it's left up to your, your interpretation if the ghost was really there or not. But by that point, really, the tea had the hallucination from the tea had gone away by that point. So really, you are seeing the ghost of the daughter. She literally pulls the mother off of the balcony and kills her. Like, who pulled the mother if it ghostly child wasn't there?
Again, like maybe I
just
thought that he was hallucinating and she just fucking kills herself. I don't know. Backwards.
I don't know. I mean, it's
So most people jump out
possible,
windows.
but they made a point of going back to it and mentioning it,
Fair.
Before leaving, before the movie ends. So, and that one woman who is really good ends up like adopting that kid, I guess. Yep. And that was all good. I will say this, and I think it's the last thing that I personally have to say, but the whole thing with the doctor though in the room by himself was a little strange. Like when she gave him just so willingly stabbed himself with that knife.
Oh, that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he just hears,
you will take this knife and you will do what I say to do. All right. Yeah. Well, I guess I'm gonna fucking do it.
He's like, okay, I guess there's no other way out.
Well, maybe he's like, this will end my PTSD.
I get that, but you're gonna kill yourself in the most brutal way possible.
You're right. I'm just saying it to be funny. I agree with you. It was ridiculous.
Like he's stabbing himself like into the chest from his back. Like that was a little.
I know it's he reverse Jilled himself.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
you got bobbed and now you got Jilled.
Indeed.
Scream 4 never ends. Anyway, so
yeah,
I think I've covered my bases here with Hercule Poirot.
What happened? Speaking of parrots, what happened to that parrot?
Oh my god!
They kept showing him the entire movie.
I was waiting for the parrot to say some clue about the killer, and I thought
that it was going to be revealed that the parrot was the one singing. Like they kept hearing that voice, and it was going to be the parrot singing. But they never went back to that parrot. Everything was tied up by the end except for that parrot. It's like, did you just leave it behind?
Is the parrot the end credit scene?
No.
Is there an end credit scene?
No.
There was a missed opportunity.
There was like a mid-credit something. I can't remember. We stayed for it. Actually, no, it was just the camera backing up, and it was just really long beginning credits. Like the movie just kept going as it backed up. But
there is less than a minute though, so we got to wrap up. Otherwise, we're not going to have an outro.
I'm aware. Anyway, have you guys out there? Have you seen it?
Go see it.
Let us know.
Box office go up.
If you haven't, go see it. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Go see it again if you have. So comment below. Let us know everything you thought about it. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.